All right, what's going on, guys? My name's Logan with West Desert Wheeler. I realized that I haven't done an exclusive video with this truck since I built it. I made a video at Proline by the Fire where it got, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes of screen time, but it was a long video. You might have missed it. I built this new truck from Rock Pirates RC. It is a Kraken VRD chassis on Capra axles with rear steer. This is a really cool truck. It's super capable. Unfortunately, it's been raining for about the last 4 days here, and out in Sand Hollow, the sand gets carried around with the water and it creates really slick surface on top of the rocks, as well as the rocks actually absorb water because it's sandstone, it's porous. So our traction is going to be super low. We're going to go run on Sidewinder. It sits up higher on a hill, so not quite as much like sand gets into the runoff and whatnot. So our traction will be limited, but hopefully a little better here versus some of the other areas around here. So we're going to have fun while we can. Let's check out the new truck and talk about this thing. It's super badass. I really like this truck. So first, let's just get a good look around this thing. This was painted by my buddy Tyson Zion RC on Instagram. Now, this is a Rock Pirates Trident body, and then it has the Rock Pirates new released bed on here as well. This has Capra axles, like I mentioned. It's got SSD inner knuckles that are brass on the knuckles on the Capra, and then it has deluxe big brass outers on the front as well, just to try and get that forward bias. It has my own crawler cut and shuts on here, Spec RC 2.2s. I've been running these tires for over 3 years, so these things are really well scrubbed in. This is my go-to tire, no doubt. What else have we got? It's got a Nod 2 transmission that I mounted into a VRD skid. So it's got a revolver in there from Holmes Hobbies. It's a 540M and 1800 kV. And I've even got some rock lights hidden in there from Rock Pirates RC as well. And that pretty well covers it. It's got in the works 90mm shocks on the front and rear, and Reefs 777 servos front and back. So for those of you who follow along, if you remember my Ding Dong truck, yes, I had a truck with a paint job like the Hostess Ding Dong Snacks, as a joke from the live stream every Wednesday that Harley and Scale Builders Guild put on. This truck is essentially 85% of what that truck was. So I had it on a rum runner setup, and I took those axles and actually swapped over to the VRD Kraken chassis. I have a Class 2 VRD Kraken, and I've just really loved the performance of that truck, and so I wanted to try it in a Class 3 as well, to see if that might have some secret hidden sauce in there. And this is a very capable truck, but so is that rum runner, so it's got big shoes to fill. I honestly don't have a ton of drive time on it, even as comparison, so it's good to get out here, get some drive time with the truck, and see how she does out on the trails. Already walking up that obstacle like it wasn't a problem. Trust me, that's a hard line. So this is where we're gonna start running into traction limits. Driving through sand like that, the sand is going to collect on the tires. It's a little bit moist in here as well, so it's just overall going to make things tricky. And this is always a fun, challenging climb, because you're trying to get the front to come up that big ledge while the rears are just trying to fight to stay on the lower ledge. Luckily, we got portals, big tires, and an angled skid plate from this Rock Pirates chassis, because the VRD from Vanquish has a angled skid on there as well. So I need to work it just a little more driver to get my belly position kind of where I want. Interesting, we're on our belly pretty hard here, and that could definitely be because of our wheelbase. Fortunately, we got rear steer to help us out. It's clawing for traction, and we fell back down. This is interesting. It's not pulling up quite as easy as I would have guessed it would have. We're getting into our belly pretty hard, pretty quickly. Yeah, we're having to earn this one for sure. Now, I did a mullet versus my Class 2 video, and my Class 2 is on straight axles, and my Class 2 struggled on this line as well, getting into the belly. But the mullet pulled up it pretty easily. I attributed that to a little more added clearance because of the portals. Maybe the longer wheelbase is killing us here. Maybe it's poor line choice. Yeah, really, we're just on our belly finally. Oh no, man, it had it and then it fell off. This is a trail that I've actually had the owners of Rock Pirates out here and driven. So we've had Steve out here night crawling in the dark with the locals. Connor is now a local as well, so it's been fun to show those guys my trails. You could hear that belly just smack into the rock when I bumped it there. That was a pretty mild bump, so let's get a little more aggressive with it. There we go. Sometimes that's what it takes. You can't always crawl everything. So I'm trying to use that rear steer to settle that front end back down on the ground. It was starting to float. We're gonna hit it hard and bump up and over the top of this because it's a big breakover here. Yep, I know that I have to do it on that one, so able to make it work there. And now we're gonna get into one of my favorite obstacles in here. It's super unique. There's not really any other obstacle like this. Where you've got that wall, you can kind of hook that front passenger on. With rear steer, you can follow the pinch in the rear. Drive the front through the little notch there. And then drive the rear around the crack. It's just super cool to make your truck work where you want it to. So the front tires took a completely different line than the rear tires. Super cool. And it cruised up it. That made it look good. Now we're gonna spin around and start down the drop of Sidewinder. Now this line right here on the approach, I really like to get my rear tires up close to the wall. Fortunately with a rear steer truck, makes it a lot easier. Something drag axle, it's a little tricky to get it like all the way up against the wall like we're looking at right there. But this truck's on portals, it's got an angled skid. We did see some belly height clearance issues on that previous obstacle, so let's see how she does here. Just want a nice and easy set it down. Got super low end control. We've got a Holmes V3 ESC in this truck and a Holmes 1800 kV revolver. Again in that 540M size. It's what fits in the stubby kit on the VFD, and I really like that size motor. It seems to work really well with these ESCs from Holmes. Yeah, it's gonna slip off here. Just trying to keep her controlled. Don't want it to suddenly weight transfer. Just let the suspension work. Another thing I really like about these Holmes ESCs is I've never liked the castle whine with the outrunners. So having these things just be silent is so convenient and nice. Here we go. I usually wouldn't climb the front that soon with a drag axle truck, but because I can fight the rear back into position where I need it to, I'll keep the tire on the wall for a little bit. Okay, now I really do need to kind of have it bite in. I've had good luck with my Class 2 on these lines and the mullet, but they're a lot narrower, so I want to see if we can get this truck to, that rear tire is a little trapped in there. Doing some funky things with the suspension. There we go. Got that forward weight bias to pull that rear up and through that bind. Getting a little too sideways here. Let that front sidewall work. Yeah, that rear, when it falls down like that, it can't be out towards the edge. It will cause the truck to lift the front end up and fall off. Yeah, I still don't have my front end where I need it. You kind of need the front end to be on the sidewall as it comes through. These tires are super scrubbed in, very feathered. They've got tons of traction available on those sidewalls, where they're basically smooth at this point. No, I couldn't see my rear tire position there and kind of messed it up. That was on me. This one's always challenging, it's fun. See, we used that sidewall and we got it to pull the rear up and through. It's all about that forward weight bias. And manipulating the truck how it needs to be driven. This is not a speed demon. It has tons of gear reduction in this guy. All right, on approach to this next obstacle, which is also a belly clearance obstacle. We're gonna see how far to the right it's gonna let us pull up. Now what's funny is I'm making a lot of comparisons based on that class 2 video I recently did, because I remember some of the marks of where it would and wouldn't do certain obstacles, but this is a totally different truck. Honestly, if we can get her to go right there, that'd be pretty good. It's close. Also, the rocks have less traction on them now than they did. There we go. Not a bad pull. Wish it would have gone a little further right, but that's okay. This is not the breakover monster like the Rum Runner chassis is, with that super forward skid and higher angle. Now, using this chassis, I did make a mistake of ordering parts. This requires that you use a VRD skid in it and not just one of the Kraken blank skids from Rock Pirates. And as much fun as it is to have like a super gnarly forward aggressive weight bias, there's still a lot of things I end up driving down. So I don't go too crazy with it. I don't own scales, so I actually don't have an exact percentage to tell you. This is certainly up in the near 60. Usually rear steer trucks, the bias is shifted a little bit rear. I would guess like 58%-ish range, if not even into 61% range, somewhere in there. But really narrow through here. Luckily we got the high clearance body from Rock Pirates to squeeze along. We're actually gonna lose our front tire off the ledge. We're gonna see if we can recover it once we get around this rock. That portal C just perfectly letting it squeeze through. We're dragging our rear pretty hard, but it seems like it lets that, oh crap. Okay, yeah, I wasn't paying attention enough to the front where it needs to crawl. You can see we're hard on our high clearance link in the rear. Now we need to get this front up this ledge and not let it just push off the ledge. It's getting close to pushing off the ledge. You know what? I think I'm gonna get crazier with it and actually hang the truck down off the ledge a little more. We're kind of hard onto the skid here. This way we're gonna put more tire on the ground and have better control. But that puts the tire way up in that undercut too. Yeah, just that little bit. It's funny, it looks scarier, like a worse line, but it actually gives us a lot more control dropping that tire off. So now we got to go do our buggy line. I think I'm going to drop this one forward. There's a big ledge off the back side of this that you don't want to go too crazy on. But I like to try and get my truck below that nub that is sitting next to the side rail. Kind of right in the middle of the wheelbase there. I've driven this and been all wadded up in there, and I've driven it and got it super clean before. Just depends exactly how she drops. A lot of wet sand in the bottom, which is not helping us. This might not work today. I also have plastic housings, so I don't want to go too crazy with it. Watching those housings flex as we try and crawl through. These revolvers are powerful, but they do kind of have a limit, and that helps with avoiding parts breakages. I could still break an axle if I drive a little careless here. Just trying to get it level so I can get out of here. This 777 servos fight really hard being direct power. I really like the direct power stuff from Reefs. 888s and 777s are awesome. You can see a lot of little micro adjustments there. We finally got our truck balanced. Now let's just not ruin it. We just got to back down out of this line. Now our front tires are all sandy. Yeah, I guess we'll just back all the way down this one. This is a really fun line to try and climb, but today with the limited traction, it's like borderline impossible. I've done it once or twice is all, and it takes quite a few tries. And we ended up upside down. All right, let's hope this truck doesn't take a major tumble, because it definitely could. I drove this line with the C2s. That overdrive saving us, no doubt. That rear end was trying to come up and over, but the front end rotating faster than the rear helps settle the suspension back in. This truck's got a little longer wheelbase, so it should stay pretty stable here. Oh, sorry, Sydney. You okay? I did not mean to bump you. Sorry, puppy. Whoops, wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunately, I did think she helped save the truck, so I'm sorry, but I do think you helped the truck. She's all right, she's tough. I gave her some pets and apologized. But yeah, I should have been more ready with the throttle on that drop. That was a driver error for sure. I honestly didn't expect it to kind of unload like that. Interesting. This is always a fun one. Luckily with rear steer, it's pretty easy to get the rear end dropped in for a better approach to get that front to climb. This little ledge in here is not helping my rears turn. You watch that suspension, it picks up a tire whenever it gets unhappy. Our front end isn't going to fit through there, so I need to drop it in a little bit so that it can climb through this. Ah, that was close. There we go. Push on through. A lot of binding in there. I'm being pretty mean to this truck with plastic axles. I do have a full set of the newer Capra housings that have been reinforced on the C's. These are the originals, but they are available as the replacement housing for the axial Capra, so you can upgrade or update any old Capra you might have on plastic axles. And I do have a few trucks on metal Capra axles, but just for lightweight, I stick with the plastic on this truck. And cost, I mean, they're not cheap to do. It's a few $100 every time you do it. But I've kind of intentionally kept this guy plastic. Yeah, this is not looking good in here. Yeah, we're kind of trapped here. I can't quite get it up and out of this. Again, those 777s fighting hard. 3S direct power servos. when you're square on the sidewall, it doesn't like it. This tire is pinched down in here from both sides. Yeah, this is not going well. All right, not the line I was after, but I got out of it without having to touch the truck. Just a lot of wiggling and finding our way through. Will it take this straight on? Yes. The rock is wet with moss, so it doesn't have the traction, but it has the clearance to get through that, so that's what I was curious about. So we'll drive up the right side of that one, but we'll get down to where we might be able to catch this. We'll try a forward drop on this guy. It's pretty sketchy on this one. Get the GoPro hand over in front of the truck. It should handle that, yeah. Yep. I don't like this at all. There we go. Not a bad little turnaround. Come on, get this balanced. Yeah, yeah. Dudes, I've tried and tried to get this line before. I think it was with my Tie Pro a while ago. And I just wasn't quite able to get this to hook and pull up. This truck certainly didn't care too much. That was pretty quick. That was nice. The other day we were out night crawling and Connor said he drove up this. I didn't see him do it, but yeah, that wasn't too bad. So you just had a truck a little more capable than my Tie Pro, I suppose. And we can drop down. We'll try this ridiculous line that one of our buddies came up with. I actually don't remember who did this first. Could have been Talon or Riley or Wyatt, Luis, one of those guys. Yeah, so I don't want to get it. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I want to be. Yeah, and this is crazy. I've seen somebody drive this. I have not personally done it. Slam. All right, let's give this one more shot. It's hard because you need to angle the front end over pretty far, but then it gets the truck a little too sideways. That's looking pretty promising. I need dig. Man, dig would save me here. Truck has overdrive, but not quite enough. Yeah, it unloads right there. I do remember seeing, I think it was Riley try this line, and his truck had dig. Yeah, this one's super close. It's just not quite there. It likes to unload that front passenger. Not it. Not today. This one's always super rad. I just love the way this one works because the left side wall is over vertical and the right side wall has some good angle to it. But once you put them together, it's just about vertical on each side. So you end up riding like your sidewalls all the way through. It's a really cool line. But your truck's off camber because it's over vertical on that left side. This one's always been a servo wiggler. Just a little bit of servo wiggling here and there. Breaks the sidewalls free to let it keep moving. So you kind of just got to wiggle your way through this one. There's a couple spots through here that your tires try and get bound up. And it takes just that little bit of movement in the servo. It's not much at all, but something to break that excessive traction. Oh, rear end is unhappy. Picked that front right up like no problem. You can hear that motor start to work harder as well. It's good to have a little feedback like that. Let you know when your truck is really starting to work hard. Piece of cake. Mud all on the sidewalls all the way to the wheels. So you know you're using the whole tire. Oh yeah, this big rock down here fell the other day. It was part of the formation up here, but either a buggy came through and swiped it or just the rain knocked it down. This is kind of a popular rock crawling obstacle just beyond this, so I wouldn't be surprised if a car knocked it down. But I was playing with this, I think it was my drag axle Capra, I think. And I was struggling to kind of get the rear worked through how I wanted. And so this guy might make things a little bit easier for us. Nice pinch. Pull it on up. You see how much sand is stuck in my tires? I've got like no traction now. And when you're on the wet rock, spinning your tires doesn't clean them because the rock erodes and it creates more sand. It's so close. All right, yep, just had to wiggle and find it. And so this is a great way to learn like how to find traction, which is super fun and challenging. See that forward bias picking that rear tire up in the air momentarily. But it's not so crazy because I can still get the front tire to float when I need to. Ooh, pull that front around, come on. Come on. It's gonna roll once this tire kind of drops off this vertical ledge, that's all right. You know, what if it isn't all right? What if we wanna save it? Let's get this tire off this rock on the back. We're gonna lower it by driving it off. That'll lower our center of gravity. We're still a little sideways though, so still a little concerned we're gonna roll. Well, we drove out of it, throttled out of it, whatever you wanna call it. This obstacle I made a video on very early on in my channel. And I just drove it for the first time successfully about a week or two ago. So it's been almost 5 years that I've known about this spot and had been unsuccessful in driving it. Oh, come on. Okay, that was a bit ridiculous there, getting stuck on the way in. But when I originally drove this, there were no rocks piled up in here. So the pocket was just a little bit different. There was a V-notch like under this sand and rocks that you had to get about a car length up the V-notch before you entered this pocket. And there's no sand in the bottom of it. It was just a pure rock formation the first time I did it. Now, when I drove it the other day, I had dig. I was driving my UC Fab, and I used it a lot to settle the front end at the top. So this truck may not be able to do it, but it is a good bit wider being able to drive up that right rock like it just did. Yeah, so what's interesting about this line is your front end goes over that rock on the right side. The rear end ends up going underneath it. And you can't really turn into the right side too early because the top edge of the tire gets into the wall. That wheel is too far under that ledge. Come on, SL3D. Now I'm putting like the whole weight of the truck on the sidewall of this thing. Yep. Drive up and over the top. Come on. Come on. Yes. Come on, don't fall in. That left tire, man. Come on. Oh, it's such a finesse balance. That's looking really good. Give me the traction. Pull. Pull. Why did I do this on a wet day? And this is like the bottom of a ravine, so all the water and sand ran through here. Come on. Come on, crawlers. Give it to me. Yeah, all right, finally did it on camera for the first time in like 5 years. Not quite the same obstacle at the bottom, but that pocket at the top is legit. That's fun. Well, guys, I do have affiliate links down below. I know a lot of people are gonna be doing some online shopping. There's a lot of good deals to be had this time of year through Black Friday and whatnot. Please use the affiliate links if you do any online shopping. It does really help me out. I am full-time YouTube, and it means a lot. So thank you guys for your support through the years. If you're shopping online, I'd appreciate it if you used it. And grab yourself some sweet deals through A-Main and Horizon through those affiliate links. Of course, always support the friends of the channel, even if they're not affiliates. I don't have an affiliate with Rock Pirates RC. I don't have an affiliate with SL3D RC. But when I meet up with those guys at events, they treat me like family, and it really is awesome. So they make great products and they're great people. Just like Sky RC Hobby Shop. So if you aren't shopping online, definitely support your local hobby shop. My local hobby shop is Sky RC in St. George, Utah. If you're local to St. George or passing through, stop by and say what's up to Cody. Whew, this is so slippery today. There's just no traction on this. no traction. I've had almost no luck on this obstacle recently in good conditions, so why not try it in poor conditions? Let's see what happens. Got loose sand at the bottom. It's too vertical, it's too wide to fit through the bottom. Yeah, I can't even get bellied out at the top, which is usually where I struggle. It's so close. And back to the bottom. That was so promising though. My body mount came loose on my body. That's why it's shaking and making noise now. I'm pretty good at landing upside down today. Well, thank you guys for watching. Myself and Sydney appreciate it. Where are you at? Hey, she's right there. You know, drop this video a like. Sydney took a hit for this video. You know, the car hit her in the butt. My bad, dog. I feel bad about that one. But check out westdesertwheeler.com if you want to help support me directly. You can pick up something as simple as a sticker pack or some of my hard parts as well. I do have a merch link down below as well, where you can pick up a shirt. All of my kids' shirts are marked down as low as I can get them. I make no money on them, and so you can get them to your kids as cheap as possible. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.